What's good, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Before I get to this video, I just wanted to personally say that this Thursday I'm turning 30 years old. Can you believe that? I am an old man at this stage of my life. But I'm actually going to be hosting a live stream commemorating my 30 years of existence. I'm going to be live on YouTube and on Facebook Live as well. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to express a lot more about myself, about my life, all the ups and downs, and we can discuss about anything. And there's going to be a lot of things I wanted to talk about too as well. So, if you guys are interested, come by. I'm going to start at 7 p.m. Central Time on Thursday right here on this channel. So you don't want to miss it. So let's get to the subject at hand here, shall we? So the big bombshell that came out of the NBA today is probably the second biggest bombshell besides, the Ime Udoka stuff with Boston. Steve Nash has been removed as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. And to me, this was pretty much the inevitable that was going to happen, even at the end of the regular season. I just felt that he was just a lame duck in a toxic situation that's going on in Brooklyn right now. In light of the Kyrie Irving stuff, his comments or whatever, and then with Kevin Durant wanting him removed, during the off season. I mean, he just had a lot on his plate as a first year head coach. But I'm going to say this, and I know there's going to be some people that may disagree with it. To me, Steve Nash is just not. To me, I just never saw Steve Nash as a legitimate head coach. And I'm not saying that he doesn't know X's and O's, but I'm saying that he's more of a player personnel, player development type of personality that it would work with any franchise. I just never felt that he had the lift or the leadership skills and the intangibles to become a successful head coach. And even though he did lead his team to 94 victories during his 3 years as head coach, I just felt that he was just not the right fit for that particular team. But it doesn't mean that he didn't do his best out there. I mean, I'll just say it like this. He had a lot on his plate. But at the same time, I just felt that he wasn't the right coach for this particular team. But in light of the whole situation, he was pretty much going to be gone, even if they won a championship. I just never felt that he was going to be the coach long term. And after they got off to a 2-5 start and getting ejected for the first time in his career against the Milwaukee Bucks that have been playing awesome basketball to start the year, it was pretty much the inevitable. The writing was pretty much on the wall. And so I just felt that it was just pretty much, they just felt like they knew it was just time to make a change. But 7 games into the year, they make the change to bring in a new coach. Now, Jacques Vaughn is going to be the interim head coach, which leads me to the big story that's coming out now that the Brooklyn Nets are now pursuing a former assistant with Nash when they were in Brooklyn together. And it's the man that's been suspended by the Boston Celtics for, the whole affair situation with an executive. And that's Ime Udoka, right? So here's how I look at this whole situation. The Boston Celtics wanted to wipe their hands away of this whole Udoka situation as immediately as possible. But what they could have done, they could have decided, listen, we still have him under contract despite of his suspension, and we can force the Nets to make a trade for him for cash compensation and a couple of draft picks to bring him in. But based on how the Celtics have been moving, they just wanted to wipe their hands of Ime Udoka as quickly and efficiently as possible to avoid any more scrutiny. But I'm going to say something about this. The one thing that really bothered me about the whole situation is that why was it that Udoka got the brunt of the criticism for it? You know what I mean? The way I looked at the whole situation was he was the only guy that was pretty much straight up honest about the whole thing. He never lied about one single piece of information during that whole affair with that, with that Celtic executive. While that Celtic executive, who was a white woman, by the way, was basically covering that up and was making up lies along the way, saying that she wasn't involved. And then it turns out he was. And it just turned out to be a complete mess. And I shouldn't say executive. He's the guy. I'm saying the wife of the executive, I should say. Let me clear that. Let me make sure to give that clarification. The wife of the executive that was the one that was having the affair with Udoka. So I just felt that the way that it went down was just very shady. And the way that the media tried to label Udoka as the bad guy is just really rubbed me off the wrong way. And I just didn't, I didn't felt for that at all. So it was not a surprise that they wanted to, clean house and just wipe their hands of Udoka as quickly as possible. But based on the reporting that I've been seeing, especially from ESPN too, saying that they're possibly going to bring him in within the next 24 or 48 hours, that's going to be a huge shock around the NBA. And the reason why is that he leaves the Celtics, who helped them, and who he leaves the Celtics, a team that is now a title contender, right? A team that he coached to the NBA Finals. Then the whole controversy swirls around. Then you bring him in to one of your most hated rivals in the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, it's a soap opera that continues to get bigger and bigger with each passing day. I mean, there's no way you can't tell me that this was pretty much a huge soap opera. But the thing that really, irked me about it is that how it was approached by the Nets. Listen, I've always felt that like I said earlier in the video, I felt that Steve Nash was not the right coach for that team. But it doesn't mean that, to me, he had a lot of controversy to circle around with Kyrie and his comments. And I just wish sometimes that he just learned to keep stuff to himself. And then with Kevin Durant, with his immature self, talking about he wants him out and the GM out before he steps on the court. I mean, he just had a lot on his plate to deal with. It just kind of explains one of the reasons why James Harden left the Nets in the first place, because he saw the writing on the wall that was going to happen. And he pretty much made it a mission to get himself out of Brooklyn and into Philadelphia quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that's pretty much what I felt about it. But when the Brooklyn Nets make the push to get Udoka, and I'm saying when, because it's only a matter of time before they make the announcement. I'll be shocked if they don't release the announcement of his hiring. If they hire Udoka, I promise you, the Brooklyn Nets are going to play far better basketball than what they've been playing. And the reason why I'm saying that is that the problem I'm seeing with the Brooklyn Nets is their offense is so isolation heavy. And many times I watch the Brooklyn Nets, I would watch Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant take 7 to 8 dribbles out of the basketball to create their own shot. There's no ball movement. There's nothing that the Brooklyn Nets run on their offense. It's just pretty much letting Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant do their thing while everybody else stands and watch. With Udoka, that's not going to be the case. I think that with those two guys on the floor together, they're going to learn how to play together as a team. And I think Udoka is going to bring in better structure to the team and figure out the best roles for each player on the team. So that way everybody knows what their roles are on the team. Because that's one of my biggest criticisms of the Brooklyn Nets. I just felt that, with Nash, he had no idea what his rotations were. There was inconsistent minutes for so many of his guys. With Kyrie coming in and out of the lineup over his own controversial stuff. And Kevin Durant, playing spot minutes at times. It just became a huge, huge mess for him to deal with. And I think Udoka has a better grasp of how to try to keep things structured and under control. And more importantly, keeping the egos of both Kyrie and KD in check. And I think this will work better for the Brooklyn Nets. But keep in mind, when the new coach comes in early on in the season, there's going to be a transitional period where the players are going to try to figure out what the coach wants them to do on the basketball court. So don't be surprised if the Brooklyn Nets get off to that similar slow start that they have been to start out the year. And then once they figure things out, then they become the team that many people expected them to be. But all I say is that, it's just been pretty much a big time soap opera that's now getting bigger and bigger. And I just felt that, the Celtics did Udoka wrong, and they're going to pay the price for it. So that's just pretty much what I believe in. But I know there's going to be people that are going to have a different opinion about it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you believe that Steve Nash's hiring was the right thing to do? And do you think Udoka is the perfect fit for that team? You let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.